Well, hello everybody, welcome back to 2CTV and another live update. This is actually an extremely important update because the mainstream media is absolutely ignoring it as usual. On 2CTV, we talked a lot recently about corruption within the Conservative Party, the Liberal Democrats, and sometimes the Labour Party. All the investigations, suspensions, arrests, and everything else. But in this video, we're going to primarily talk about the Labour Party because over 200 Labour politicians have been facing troubles, arrests, investigations, suspensions, everything, all at once. And no, it's not over 200 politicians, Labour politicians, over the last 100 years, or over the last 50 years, or over the last 10 years. No, this is only over the last couple of years. The last 2-3 years, we've been having a huge list of Labour politicians, obviously, as well as Tories and Lib Dems, but we've already covered the Tories and Lib Dems enough. This channel has become completely anti-Tory now. But let's talk about the Labour Party and the corruption. A big thank you to Vote Watch for actually putting this list together. This is just a selection of a few of the cases we're going to go through, because some of them are obviously we've reported individual cases over the last couple of years on this channel. But just as a reminder of what we're actually dealing with, over 200, right? The issue we have is that some of the investigations were basically based on hate crime, hate speech, but a lot of them are about sexual offences, financial corruption, lobbying and all that stuff, and basically anything that the hypocrites of the Labour Party have been attacking all the other parties about. And we know there's corruption within all the parties. Tories, Labour, Lib Dems, all of them. But let's have a look at some of these, go through them together and then get your reaction as well. So it's between 2022, 2023, basically 2 years. Councillor Tom Dewey from Hackney. What happened with this guy? He got into trouble. Tom, 36, was charged as part of an NCA investigation into child abuse photography. They found photos at his home. He briefly served as a councillor in Hackney before resigning over this incident, attempting to hide the true reason by citing personal reasons. Oops. Now, let's not forget about all the others in certain areas, from Rochdale to Rotherham, who were part of grooming gangs. That's part of the bigger list anyway. But this is also an individual case, Tom Dewey, one of the Labour MPs. Obviously, Charalambos, who also got into trouble after Keir Starmer received a lot of pressure surrounding another sexual scandal involving this MP, around this MP. And a Labour frontbencher and shadow foreign minister was suspended from the party pending an investigation, right? We had that to deal with. But again, the list goes on and on and on. We also have, in case you don't know this one, this is just a silly one. This, I don't understand why. Okay. Councillor Jim Hobson. That's Jim, by the way, in Blackpool. Got the trouble. Actually, this is a whole different case. The photo is different. We're going to have to change that. I just realized that's the one. There we go. Sorry. The list is growing and growing. It's hard to keep up. Hang on 1 second. So this is actually, forget about Jim. We'll get back to Jim in a second. Because Jim did something weird. This is actually about Arooj Shah. Now, what did Arooj Shah do you think? Well, the Labour councillor, the Labour leader of Oldham Council, came under fire over her close relationship with a criminal previously imprisoned for helping the serial killer Dale Cregan, who tortured, obviously, his victims and everything else, and two police officers as well. Lovely stuff. Continues. Councillor John Robert Reynolds from Lancashire. What did this man do? We should just play it like a drinking game or whatever. Saying, can you guess the crime? Guess the crime, type it, put in John Reynolds, and then obviously following the names as well. So first, type in your predictions. Labour councillor and parliamentary candidate was arrested for grooming a child, a 14-year-old boy, on Tinder. This is bad stuff. Very bad stuff. Charlotte Nichols. Oh, from Warrington. You know this one. This should be an easy guess. Type in your guesses. That's an easy one. She managed to get away with it, by the way, despite the investigation. It happens, right? The MP was proven to have broken the electoral laws by lying on her nomination papers. The police sought to prosecute her, but somehow it was blocked by a judge. Even though it was proven right. I can see people already putting their predictions. John is a nonce. Yep. Yes, John was indeed a nonce. Charlotte was easy. Now, guess the next one. Councillor Ron Graham from Leeds. Putting your predictions, you only have 5 seconds to type in because I'm going to go to the actual reason. What do you think happened with Ron Graham? He's 79 years old, by the way, or he was, still is, yeah. He was charged with a string of alleged serious sex offences. Again, against a child, a young girl. Oops. So we have the electoral fraud, we have sexual stuff, we have financial fraud and everything else. Guess Adam Buckingham, Labour candidate from Salisbury. What do you think Adam has done? I mean, the live chat is all on fire. Everyone's just putting nonsense. That's usually the answer. Well, a Labour candidate, Adam Buckingham, 47, appeared in Salisbury Crown Court on Friday, the 14th of July this year, after being found guilty of 8 counts of serious sexual offences. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So mostly, a lot of those being sexual and some of them fraud. Paul Flowers, go. Guess your predictions in the live chat. What do you think Mr. Flowers has done? He doesn't look like a flower. Flowers, who represented the Labour Party for Bradford in council between 2001 and 2011, now stands accused of abusing his authority to commit an act of fraud and will attend the Manchester Magistrates Court on the 30th of August this year. So we're now getting kind of like even now between the sexual offences and fraud. Some of it then towards the end it just gets silly because a lot of it is just hate crime. So it's just hate speech, hate crime. While it's still bad, I don't really count them as serious crimes. So over 200 politicians, not all of them have done sexual offences or electoral fraud or financial frauds. Some of them have just been investigated and suspended based on hate speech, hate crime, that sort of nonsense. But these are the serious cases. Some of the serious cases I'm going through. There's so many more, 200 plus. Of course, Stephen Dutty, the Labour MP, who has a picture with Keir Starmer when Starmer was standing for party leadership. Stephen lied to the police and to Parliament when claiming that he would only once illegally taken drugs from a vulnerable constituents. In fact, he'd been doing it for years, it was proven. So we now can add the drug-related stuff too, because there's a couple of drug-related issues in this list as well. It's so weird. So weird. Oh, this is my favourite. You must know because we talked about this guy, Tom Hayes in Bournemouth. Labour parliamentary candidate and councillor. Guess your predictions right now. You have 5-10 seconds. I'm looking at the live chat, by the way. Don't worry. Someone said Starmer's a nonce. No, that is allegedly not even true, actually. Tom is a bit of a thief. Tom caught in the act as a letterbox burglar. He was a Bournemouth Labour councillor who at the time was also parliamentary candidate. Then he got into trouble. Investigation. He was also suspended from the Labour Party. Oh, Tom. How naughty. Uh-oh. Councillor Fazila Lunat. Sounds like loony. From Batley and Spen. Apparently she was also a friend of Joe Cox and those guys as well. Fazila was sentenced to an immediate jail term following her participation in a prolonged and sustained attempt to manipulate the outcome of a case of speeding. Imagine sacrificing your life and career over a speeding case. Nonsense, right? By the way, David Arnold in the live chat reminds us that Paul Flowers was also done for drugs. And there were a number of cases and also hiring rent boys. Yeah. Allegedly. Then it just gets weird now. So, Councillor Ismail backs from Preston. From here onwards, you're going to guess what these cases are. It's just... He represented, obviously, Preston's Deepdale ward, who was suspended for supporting posts on social media that tried to justify the murder of Jews. He literally wanted the Jews to be wiped out. Ouch. This is the Labour Party. As I said at the beginning of the live stream, we've talked enough about the corruption inside the Tories, the Lib Dems, but it's important to remind people of the future government, apparently, in this country, which is going to be the Labour Party. Councillor Hassan Ahmed from Nottingham. So that guy, the councillor backed, wanted to just completely wipe out the Jews. But this one, another Labour councillor from Nottingham, was expelled from the Labour Party, also investigated for joining a banned organisation that seeks to downplay antisemitism. A banned organisation, actual criminal group. That's nice, isn't it? And now we have Hope Not Hate going after Reform UK and their candidates left, right and centre. Hope Not Hate don't care about the Labour politicians. Hope Not Hate, the mainstream media don't care about the Labour politicians. If a Tory gets into trouble, if a Reform UK candidate gets in trouble, it'll be breaking news headlines everywhere. Before we continue, there's a very, very important super chat. Galloway Raider says, "You need a haircut, Maya." I know. Tomorrow, don't worry. It's a bit of a mess now. It looks like lockdown hair. And a super sticker support as well. Thank you very much, guys. Let's go back. Where were we? It gets worse. No, but actually, no. From here, it just gets silly now, so it's fine. These are just anti-Semitism cases. It's just hate speech. You know. Diane Abbott, obviously, was investigated also as slammed for making racist comments against white people. It was investigated after suggesting that Jewish, Irish and traveller people were not subject to racism all their lives. Oh, Diane. Oh, my favourite racist, Diane Abbott. Most of the serious cases are at the beginning of the list. This is just silly now. Again, there's another one. This is just hate speech, I guess. A little bit treasonous, but also hate speech. Councillor David Beckett Darlington went against King Charles. He, who has worked alongside Angela Rayner, of course, was investigated and suspended for calling King Charles a nonce on social media and urging people not to swear their allegiance to the crown. You can be against Charles, but you shouldn't be against the crown. There's a difference between the king, who's the protector of the crown. The crown is above the king. It's not even about Charles. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Charles as an individual, but the crown is the constitution. That does matter. Unless you want to turn us into a socialist republic, then fine, you could do that. Councillor Mohammed Iqbal from Lancashire. What did he do? Over in Lancashire, Councillor Mohammed Iqbal, who was suspended by Labour after making anti-Semitic comments at a meeting, was shockingly allowed to work on Labour's main campaign team, even wearing a red rosette with them and acting as a counter on election night. Oh yeah, because that really helps. Getting politically biased people who are also dodgy to count the votes. That helps, yeah. Should we go over to Jim? Because I was going to talk about Jim. This is Jim. Jim Hobson. He doesn't look white, does he? Why do you think he doesn't look white? Because he blacked up. He did a Justin Trudeau. Councillor Jim Hobson, who was re-elected to represent Bloomfield Ward in May at the local elections, was investigated after being caught blacking up at the party. So stupid. The whole thing is so stupid. So I left them all, the kind of light-hearted cases at the end, because the beginning of the list was quite serious. We had all the sexual offences and all the grooming stuff and all the electoral fraud, financial fraud, so many different cases, over 200. That's only the last 2-3 years, by the way, to clarify, in case you're like, well, is this a clickbait title? Is this actually true or not? Is this over 200 over the last decade or over the last century? Nope. Investigations, arrests and suspensions and all the other the troublemaking situations have been happening over the last 2-3 years under Keir Starmer's leadership, by the way. The same leadership that's been saying that the Labour Party has changed. Absolutely changed. John Mack has the same reaction I had when I discovered the list. What the actual F? I know. It's so weird. But of course, the media care more about scandals around the Liberal Democrats or the Tories or Reform UK. Scott Perry says, it's no coincidence that the hate speech laws, when enforced without bias, find so much hate speech among liberals and the leftists. Yes, absolutely. It is true. Very, very true. What is going on here? Over 600 people here fooled by nonce. Please don't be fooled and don't target the messenger. It took us 2 years to shut down that. Who is this? What's happening here? Did we have a troll already in the live chat? It's going to be great. Unique videos. I laugh so much while getting the most crazy of news. You have to laugh, otherwise it's just too depressing. It will be very, very hard and dark. That's what she said, by the way. Very hard and dark. Can't control myself. That's what the Labour politician said as well. Ideology, thank you very much for your super chat saying David Cameron said, I smoked weed but didn't inhale. Paul Flowers says, I'm not addicted to cocaine. I just like the way it smells. Genius, sir. Genius. Absolutely. Also, Tom's the super chat, thank you very much, saying, I am pro-life and we must take back our country from the Bolshevik government in charge. The UK court system is effed. Pedos get away with it. I mean, that's technically been the case so many times. That's the issue, right? Gallery says, keep it clean, bro. I'm trying. Can't say the same about the Labour politicians, though. I know, right? I mean, Michigan Music says, drug test all the MPs. If you drug test all the MPs, we're not going to have any MPs left in Parliament. Come on, ladies. Maya is still single. What's that got to do with anything? Howard Palmer says, and the judges let them walk. Clearly, the whole system corrupt. So some of them have been let go. Some of them are actually still in prison. But they're only going to serve, 12 months? 6 months? Whatever. Aidan says, well, when Labour get into government, or if they do, it's going to be hilarious seeing the Prime Minister's questions when the opposition, whoever it is, talks about these cases, and when the media... Well, you would say that. When the media scrutinizes them finally. They won't. Of course they won't. Because they could have by now. They're not going to... They don't care. They absolutely don't care. The Labour Party are the official opposition party. You have to scrutinise it as the same level that you do with the government. And I try to do that on this channel. I know most of the time 2CTV is attacking the Tory government because they're not conservative. They're a bunch of idiots. But let's not forget about the Labour Party. You also have to hold them to account. Bacon Crusader, what the F was that? I don't know. Louisa says, Maria, I can't even say my own name. Maya, not Maria. Maya, I would marry you for your hair, but my wife would end me. Yeah, it's probably best not to do that then. What are your links to the Barclays family, Maya? Ooh. So I had dinner at the Barclays, Aidan Barclays' house. Was it 20? Yeah, it was the election night, 2019. When Boris Johnson got a majority and then destroyed it. And there's a photo of me at the Barclays house. And then there's a conspiracy theory say, oh, Maya's controlled by the Barclays brother. It's hilarious because the people who were there at that party were all radicals. They're all like pro-Julian Assange and anti like the globalists and all. they think because obviously the Barclays brothers have a lot of money and they owned the Telegraph and all that. They're like, oh yeah, this is evil. I hang out with everybody, by the way. If I give you a list of all the dodgy people I hang out with, oh yeah. So one of my friends is Benjamin Butterworth. Yeah, I know. Although we just spend the whole time fighting each other, but I'm open-minded. He is a bit annoying. Yeah, A little bit annoying. He's also wrong on everything. Super chat from Peter Green. Thank you very much, Mr. Green, saying, I thought the last one was just a dark photo of Fred Flintstone. No, that was Jim. Blacking up. Elder super chat from Israel. In my opinion, they are all anti-Semites who support the Jewish genocide. This has been shouted in the streets for 6 months. But that's the thing. Any of those Labour politicians who have not even been investigated, but they have been supporting these hate marches, the pro-Hamas marches, they should also be investigated. Another big super chat from the US. Synergy. Thank you very much. We're still waiting for a super chat from the Barclay brothers and the Zionists as well. Where are the Zionist money? The UK is beyond reform. It does look that way at this point, but do not lose optimism because that's the only thing we have. Angela Rayner is busy at the moment, so she's not on the list yet, but she's going to be facing criminal conviction, obviously, as you guys know, despite the fact that the Labour Party wants to gaslight the general population. What else do we have in the live chat from you guys? Stuart O'Neill says, too many politicians from Oxford and Cambridge, both known for cheering at politicians who are corrupt to the core. So that's definitely been the case for decades. The problem is, the recent politicians, we actually have fewer from Oxford and Cambridge. Somehow it's just managed to make it even worse. The corruption you're getting from the non-Oxford, non-Cambridge people is bad. We always used to think, well, it's just the posh kids who are going to Oxbridge and, they have connections. They are the dodgy ones. If we get like some normal people, the problem is we got normal people. Normal. The Labour Party politicians. Do you really want those type of normal people? Not to defend the Oxford or the Cambridge people, by the way. Fiona says, how are you voting, Tusi? I don't think... I really don't know at this point. I genuinely don't know. Well, definitely not Labour. We know that. I don't think I can vote Tory. We'll see. I'm tempted to vote for the Monster Looney Party. They have a good manifesto. They want to privatize. They want to nationalize Oreos, so everybody would get Oreo biscuits every time, every day. Sandra says, Maya probably talks politics even in his sleep. So he would need a wife who can sleep through all of that. I do actually dream, unfortunately, about chaos in my sleep as well. Because I go to sleep checking the news. I wake up checking the news. That's what happens. Barry says, Butterworth is an odious solar butt plug. Oh, I'm going to send this to him. Also, testify. Yeah. He's annoying. At least it does pay for his drinks. That's good. Unlike other socialists and leftists. AFC Man UK says, yep, that would be the main problem for anyone wanting a sesh with Greta. How to get up. Why are we talking about Greta? Ashley says, got them all. All the nonsense are easy. They have a look about them. It's in their eyes. If only it was easy. That easy to just basically convict people. You can't really, unfortunately. Oh, it's been a long day, long list, and long period of corruption inside the political class in Britannia, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we will be here to hold them to account. We're not going to let them go. What else do we have from you guys in the live chat? I'll do a quick summary if you just joined us late as well. I'm going to pick my favorite. And by favorite, these are dark cases, by the way. They are disgusting. But they are basically, I'm going to call them top worst people and cases. We're going to go through that in a second. Monster Raving Looney Party is also my choice. It's the only sensible choice. Absolutely spot on. It's the only way we can fix Parliament. Jinx says, corruption has been running among since Parliament was invented. That's true. From local councils to Westminster. Our system is fundamentally flawed, long overdue and overhaul. So basic corruption exists in every system anyway. Whether democracies or dictatorships or, feudalism and, the royal families being in charge at the time, it happens anyway. The reason people are angry now is because we were promised under democracy we could have accountability and, some sort of transparency. And people are still disappointed that we don't have that. That is the issue. That's the problem we currently have. Okay, so quick summary. At least I'm just going to go through I'm going to pick my top 5 of these disgusting people and cases. I mean, can I put Tom in that? Should I put Tom Dewey? He just basically had some photos of children. Disgusting, by the way. We have bigger problems as well compared to all that one. So what do we have? This one. Oh yeah, this one is just dodgy. With a mosque in the background as well. Council leader Arooj Shah from Oldham came under fire over a close relationship with a criminal previously imprisoned for helping a serial killer who tortured people. That's one. That will go on the list. This disgusting human, Councillor John Robert Reynolds from Lancashire. He was arrested. He was also parliamentary candidate for Labour for grooming a child, a 14-year-old, on Tinder, the dating app. Wow. Absolutely wow. I mean, how are we getting to this point? Charlotte Nichols, yeah. What about this one? Maybe this one. Wait, I forgot about Ron Graham. What did he do? Oh, yeah. Sex offences, of course. Most of them are sexual offences anyway. Then you have Adam Buckingham. That's also terrible because he appeared in Salisbury Crown Court on Friday the 14th of July after being found guilty of 8 counts of serious sexual offences. Very, very disgusting. Then Paul Flowers. Oh, yeah. That's actually one of my... I can't say favourite because these are evil people, by the way. Represented the Labour Party for Bradford between 2001 and 2011. Stands accused of abusing his authority to commit an act of fraud and will attend the Manchester Magistrates Court on the 30th of August. Then you have, obviously, Stephen Doherty, who basically just did drugs and lied about it. But no, the best part of it was that he took illegal drugs from a vulnerable constituent. I'm not really sure what type of constituent, what was the vulnerability about it, but we'll find out. Tom Hayes, of course, the letterbox burglar, steal things from letterboxes. What a weirdo. And Fazila Lunat from Batley and Spen. Oh yes, this one obviously, she managed to escalate a basic speeding case. She's now, she was sentenced to immediate jail term because she participated in a prolonged and sustained attempt to manipulate the outcome of the case. What a weirdo. It's not worth it. And of course, Ishmael Bax from Preston. Look at that beard. Dear God. Was suspended for supporting the idea that the Jews had to be wiped out. Yeah. That's normal, apparently. Then you have this one, Hassan Ahmed from Nottingham, who joined a literal banned organization, a criminal organization, that was anti-Semitic. We got so many, but these are just my the top 5-10 worst ones that we've had. There's so many. Obviously, if you missed the beginning of the live stream, feel free to rewind, scroll back to beginning, and watch the whole thing because it gets worse. And this is just some of them. There are over 200 who've been investigated, arrested, or suspended, or whatever. Only the last 2-3 years, not the last decade, not the last century. Just recent times, since Keir Starmer became Labour leader and promised that he's cleaned the Labour Party, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked a lot about the Tories, we've talked a lot about the Lib Dems. Let's talk about the Labour Party. Make sure to share this video if you haven't already. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.